Welcome to my Sunday takeaway. Today in church, the pastor preached and he mentioned the guilt of sin. He said there are some people, they have repented of that sin. They've asked God for forgiveness, but still they cannot forgive themselves. They constantly keep on bringing this sin back to God. God, forgive me, even though they haven't committed it again. But they just can't forget and they can't forgive themselves, and they feel God has not forgiven them. And then it reminded me of a story I once heard. In that story, this man went to a pastor. He told the pastor that he has committed a huge sin. He doesn't think God can forgive him. He wants the pastor to pray for him. He says, so when the pastor told him to kneel down so he can pray, the pastor heard God tell him that don't pray for him. Tell him to go in front of the altar and pray for forgiveness. So the pastor said, okay, go to the altar and pray for forgiveness. The man did that. He came back for the pastor to pray for him. So eventually, when the man came, God now told the pastor, pray for him. So the pastor prayed for the man, told him to go. His sins has been forgiven, and he left. After he left, the pastor now went to God and said, what sin was it? It must be huge. God said, I can't remember. The pastor said, no, the sin, you said that man, the sin is huge. And you told him to go and ask for forgiveness. I just want to know, what exactly did he do? God said, I told you, I can't remember. And the pastor said, oh God, you just don't want to tell me. I won't tell anybody. And God said, no. Once I forgive, I forget. Your sins I will remember no more. So when the pastor was preaching today about guilt of sin, I remembered that story. So those of you who are still berating yourselves over something you committed in 1900, if you have repented and you have confessed your sins and you have forsaken that sin, you don't return back to it, God has forgiven you. If you keep on remembering it, that's the accuser of the brethren. The devil is bringing it to your remembrance. Once God forgives, he forgets. And that's Sunday takeaway. God bless.